Hey everybody, it's King's Drummer here, and in this video I thought I'd come outside because it's such a nice day out and anything to get me out of the cave. I just came home from vinyl digging and got some pretty decent stuff, so now that I'm out of the cave I thought I'd show you some vinyl. So I got my water here. Alright, let's get started with the vinyl here. First up is from band Tears for Fears. And it's a 12-inch single for the song Everybody Wants to Rule the World. This is a Japanese copy, as you can see by the obi strip here. Always dug this song since when it came out in 1985. It's always been one of my all-time favorite tunes. And so yeah, so I was really happy to score this. It has extended versions of the songs Shout and Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Plus a special urban mix of the song Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and an interview as well, so really cool to have scored this. Always been a big song I've loved since '85, so really happy to have scored that. Looked like a rare piece of vinyl as well. Next is up from the Rolling Stones, Hot Rocks, and Hot Rocks 1964 to 1971. Basically, it's a kind of a greatest hits from the Rolling Stones. I've never been much of a Stones fan, but ever since I joined the VC, I always see there's a lot of Stones fans on the VC, and it kind of got me to give it a chance because I never rated them very high. But ever since I joined the VC, I've been appreciating a lot of their older songs. So this was a cool score for me. I think I'm going to dig this record a lot. I'm not going to go out and probably, I doubt it'll influence me to go out and look for every Stone record I could find in the store, but this has a great collection of stuff I like from the earlier years, so really I'm glad to have scored that. Okay. Also up, from the band Soft Cell, Nonstop Erotic Cabaret. Really cool 80s band. Once again, let me try to get it out of this vinyl sleeve so you can see the cover better. I found a really good condition LP in a used store for a few bucks. Soft Cell is best known for that song Tainted Love. What intrigued me was this picture of the back right here. I have a documentary that LJ sent me about synth pop music in the early 80s, late 70s, and they talked about the street that this picture is from, and they even walked down the street that it's from, and they said they'd never really seen a city with all these neon lights and sex shows and stuff like that. They found it fascinating, so they took a picture of it and up on the back of their album cover. Really cool. I mean, I'm starting to listen to more synth pop ever since I've seen that documentary. It's called Synth Britannica. It was great. They were one of the bands that was featured on it, so I was really happy to score that. And this LP looks like it's in great shape. Let me see what label it is. Oh, it's on, which looks to be Sire. So really cool. And the cover's in great shape. The vinyl looks like it's in really good shape, so really glad to have scored that. I'm really starting to get more into synth pop these days, ever since watching that documentary, so really happy to have scored that. Next up is from Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. This is just a rebuy. I've had this already. This is just an upgraded copy from what I had before. I had a buddy over a few nights ago who's a big Elton John fan, and he wanted to listen to this record, so I was going to spin it for him. I realized this is a 2-record set, and I realized I had 2 copies of record 1. I didn't have sides 3 and 4. That was really embarrassing. So when I went to the shop, I made sure I had an extra copy of this. I have it on CD, so we ended up listening to CD that night for the other songs I didn't have on vinyl, and there were some great songs like Roy Rogers, Social Disease, Harmony. What else did we listen to? Sweet Painted Lady was fun. Dirty Little Girl was great. We had a great time listening to this record, and it's a record I don't spin very often in my collection, so make sure I had a good copy, make sure I had both records 1 and 2 from this set. So the full set is now in the collection. Oh man. Alright, next up, from the band OMD, which is Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. It's the best of OMD. Like Soft Cell, a band I really didn't listen to much ever since I saw that documentary on the history of synth pop, and it got me listening to the records, and I already have 2 albums from them already, and which is Junk Culture and Crush, I think that's what they're called. So having this best of was pretty cool. Maybe I'll go for the even earlier records after this one. But I really dig the synth pop sound of OMD. I've had been having a lot of fun discovering their albums lately, and let's see what this is on. This is on A&M label, so really cool. Really glad to have that. It has that song Joan of Arc, which I've only seen the videos, so it's nice to have at least a vinyl copy of it, even if it's on a best of compilation. Really cool to have that. Next up is from REO Speedwagon. This is REO Speedwagon Live. You get what you play for. And I've seen this shown a lot of times on the VC, and I've never owned it. In fact, I don't think I've really ever heard it. But it's been getting a lot of high praise as a just kick-ass live album. And I love live recordings. And so I've been hearing a lot of good things about this record, so I really couldn't wait to score it. The record, the copy I have has a lot of ring wear on it, so it looks like it's been around for a long time. But the vinyl is really clean and is in good shape. Let me see if I can get the vinyl out of here. Yeah, it's on that orange Epic label. And the vinyl appears to be real clean. I'm looking at it here in the nice sunlight, the real bright sunlight. I don't see a scratch on it. Maybe it could stand to be cleaned a little bit, but as far as the quality of the vinyl is very clean. It's only cost me $2, and for $2 I thought it's a good buy. I know I'm going to dig this. It's a gatefold, and there's the gatefold. Really hope you can see that pretty good here. Yeah, so I always dug this band, REO Speedwagon. And this is actually a gold stamp promo. I don't really know if you could see that. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Gold stamp promo, as you can see up there in the corner. Really cool. Some ring wear, like I said, but vinyl's in great shape, and really that's all that should matter. And from what I heard, this is a great live album, so I'm really glad to score it. Alright, digging in the bag here. Next up is from the band Aerosmith, and it is Pump. And I remember I bought this album when it first came out, which I believe was 90 or 89. Let me see if I could find a year on here. 1989. I bought it on a cassette when it was brand new, and this was one of my favorite cassettes during that year. I played that cassette to death. This is actually, I'm not much of an Aerosmith fan, but this is such a good album, and I'm really glad I scored it. I was really surprised to see it, because I really wasn't sure if it was on vinyl or not. And it came with the original insert here. Really cool. And this was one of my favorite records when I was like 19, 20 years old. Life was so fun out there, just fresh out of high school, partying, going to junior college. Had a job, had a girlfriend, and all that fun stuff. First car, all that cool stuff. So, and this is one that was constantly being cranked up in my first car. Love this album. Fine, Young Lust, Love in Elevator, Jing's Got a Gun, The Other Side, Voodoo Medicine Man. I remember those being some killer songs, my favorite from this album. So, really, really surprised I found this. Really surprised. So, Aerosmith, Pump. This was a Record Store Day release, and I didn't find it when I actually went out on Record Store Day. So I figured, that's it, I'm not going to find it. And then all of a sudden I find it now, and it appears to be a 10-inch record. Really cool, from the bands Garbage and Screaming Females. A 10-inch record. And on the A side we have a duet of the song Because the Night, which was made famous by Patti Smith Band. I think Springsteen did a cover of it as well. And now Garbage and the Screaming Females on side B is a mix of Automatic System Habit, a remix, and the last song is Love Like Suicide. And when I went to go see Garbage in San Francisco last year, I believe it was in October of last year, the Screaming Females actually opened for Garbage, so I thought this was a cool record to have because these two were playing together when I saw them. And of course they got together and just made this one-off recording. And had it released just in time for Record Store Day. And it's on Stun Volume, which is actually a record label that Garbage started, and they put their latest album on it, Not Your Kind of People, on that release. So they're putting out their own records on their own label. It's pretty cool, and this is one of the albums on that label. So Garbage and the Screaming Females, Because the Night. Really can't wait to listen to this one. I missed it on Record Store Day, but got lucky and found a copy of it. This next one is just a 7-inch record, and it's from the band Velvet Underground. Let me fix the record here. It's kind of facing the wrong way. It creates this picture here. Actually, I'll just zoom in and that'll be a little easier for you to see. Yeah, check that out, isn't that cool? From the Velvet Underground for the songs Fall to Pieces and Surrender. And found this for a couple of bucks. Obviously on RCA. I don't think it's colored vinyl, anything that special, but really cool. And of course there's the back half of the picture that I showed you. Not that familiar with Velvet Revolver because I didn't buy the CD when it first came out, but I saw this out there and I thought it looked really, really interesting. So I really couldn't wait to bring it home. So really glad to have this from RCA, Velvet Underground. Really cool stuff. Okay, so that takes care of that bag. Let's go into this next bag here. Show you the stuff I picked up. This is really cool. This is from Michael Jackson, the album Off the Wall. This is a record I had already, but what makes this interesting is this is done in half-speed mastering, an autofile pressing, so a real upgrade from just the regular used copy I have, and I'm sure it's going to sound absolutely fantastic. So really glad to have scored that. Let me see if I can get the record out of here. And it is on Epic Records. So here it is on Epic. These half-speed mastering discs sounded absolutely fantastic. I had one done with the band Boston, their first album. I had one with Earth, Wind & Fire, I Am. And they make a huge, huge difference. So really glad I've been picking these up lately. And I don't know why these things are stuck together. Oh, they taped them together, no wonder. I was going to open the gatefold, but it's taped together. I'll take care of that inside. But it is a big difference between the standard copies and these half-speed mastering copies. Huge difference in sound. They sound so sweet on the turntable. Just absolutely love it. So really glad to have scored that. What else we got in the bag here? From Elton John, Tumbleweed Connection. Like I said, I had a buddy over a few minutes ago who's a big Elton John fan. He was really hoping I would have this on vinyl, and unfortunately I disappointed him. This is one I didn't pick up yet. I got this for a couple of bucks. The cover is starting to fall apart, so it means to say it's an original, or at least a really old copy of some kind. And let's see what label it's on. It's just on MCA Records. The only song I know off of this is Love Song, because Heart used to cover that, and they did a great job on it, and then I eventually would hear Elton John's version, which is the original version. Thought that sounded just as awesome. Yeah, the buddy I had over was really recommending I pick this one up because he saw I had a bunch of other Elton John albums and was just missing this one. And he says, oh, you got to get that one. You'll fall in love with it if you fell in love with the other ones. And so we'll see if he's right. So Elton John Tumbleweed Connection. Really glad to have that. And I think this is the last one. Yes. Okay, so last record. And this is a 12-inch single from Phil Collins. And it is for the song Like China. And it's just on this plain white cover with just this writing on it, which is not very exciting to look at. The only reason I picked this up, Like China is not a bad song. It's from the album Hello, I Must Be Going. Not a bad song. I wouldn't say it's my favorite all-time Phil Collins song, but every time I see this in the stores, they want like $15 to $17 for it. This copy right here only cost me $2. And I never understood why they wanted so much for it. It's just a 12-inch single, and it's on the Atlantic label. And it is a promotional copy. It's not meant for sale, so I guess this went straight to radio stations. Maybe that's why they excuse me. Maybe that's why they charge so much for it. The B-side of the song called "I Cannot Believe It's True," and it says, as you can see, it says AOR top track on the label here. Yeah, every time I see this, they want an arm and a leg for it. So to find it for $2, I thought it was pretty sweet. So I went ahead and went for it, just because I never see it that cheap. So really cool to have this now. Dig the hell out of Phil Collins. In the real world and sometimes in the VC, he gets unfairly shit on. But I really dig his music, and to find something kind of rare like this is a real treat. Well, that's going to do it, folks. That's the vinyl finds for this week. It was nice to do this video outside. Maybe I'll do a few more videos outside now that the weather's getting nicer and it's nicer to be out here. That's going to do it for King's Drummers, folks, and I'll see you guys at the next video.